Okay, good afternoon class. So we're looking at the grade 12, September 2022 is the Metro Central Education District paper. This was the common paper, not so? That you guys have written. Okay. You think it's a nice easy paper, no? So let's go through it quickly. In question 1.1, the question says solve for P in the given equation. Okay, that is fairly simple. So this factorizes into P and P, 49 and 1, plus and minus, not so? Where P works out to be negative 49, or P is equal to 1. Now if you can't factorize as a DD, then you use the quadratic formula. The quadratic formula gives you the full mark formula. Okay? Let's go for number 1.2. People in question 1.1.2 we are told hence or other. If it says hence, what must you do? Use the previous calculation. It says hence or otherwise solve for x. What you notice here is that on negative 49 plus I got negative 49. On p squared place I got that thing. Not so. So this here, if I simplify this, this could be written as 3 times 2 to the 4 times 2 to the x. Now 2 to the 4 is 16. 16 times 3 is 48. So it's 48 times 2 to the x. Can you see? So there's a direct relation that is existing between these two equations. Thank you, Michael. Okay, so what can we conclude from here? We can say that P is actually 2 to the x. Can you see that, people? Or we can say that P squared is 2 to the 2x. Did you guys see that? Makes sense? So we can say that 1.1.2 P is actually 2 to the x, or P squared is 2 to the 2x. But what is P? Negative 49. So negative 49 is equal to 2 to the x, or 1 is equal to 2 to the x. Now, there's no way I can write negative 49 as a base of 2. Not so? So there is no solution on that one. However, 2 to the 0 is equal to 2 to the x. Therefore, x is equal to 0. Okay. The next question in 1.2.2 is to solve for x in each of the following. In 1.2.1, it says leave your answer correct to 2 decimal. So there I know I'm going to use the quadratic formula. Not so? So what I do is I need to square this out first. I get x squared minus 6x plus 9 is equal to 3x squared. Now if you are always writing x squared plus 9 or x squared minus 9, people, it's going to be safer for you to write it out twice and multiply the story out. Okay? So I'm going to solve for x. So 0 is equal to 3x squared minus x squared plus 6x minus 9, which is 3x squared, no, 2x squared, sorry. I'm adding like terms, plus 6x minus 9 is equal to 0. So now I must use the quadratic formula, not so. So x is equal to minus b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So x works to be one of two values. So you have negative 6 plus the square root of 6 squared minus 4 times a times c over 2a. Gives you 1, 1. Is that correct? Huh? But if it's not correct, you just call it out, no? So that I can do the correction. The other one, of course, is going to be the negative, which is negative 4, 1. Is that correct? Yes. Okay. Or negative 4, 1, 0, whatever. If you want to put a 0. People in 1.2. So we have x into x plus 1 has to be less than or equal to 4x. Get rid of the brackets, it's going to be x squared plus x minus 4x is less than or equal to 0. We've got x squared plus minus 3x is less than or equal to 0. So as you can see, we can take out x as a common factor. X minus 3 has to be less than or equal to 0. You get what we call critical values. The 0 values is 0 and 3. The graph is smiling, as you can see, it's positive there, so it's 0 and 3. So it has to be less than 0, of course it is, below the line. In other words, x must be greater than 0, but less than 3. As you can see, it's an equal sign as well. So we'll have equal to. Okay? Next question. In question 1.3, without the use of a calculator, evaluate the following expression. All you notice here, both is the square root of, not so? So it can be written as 1. X into 2 minus root 7 over 2 times x into 2 plus root 7 over 2. I didn't have to write this thing, okay? What's x times x? X squared times, and as you can see, this is the conjugate pair. I multiply the first and the last. I could have gone and did that from the beginning already, okay? So that's into 2 times 2 is 4, minus root 7 times root 7 is 7, 2 times 2 is 4. So that will be the square root of x squared times. So that's going to give us 16 minus 7 over 4, which gives me the square root of x squared times the root 16 minus 7 is 9 over 4. The square root of x squared is x, the square root of 9 is 3, the square root of 4 is 2. So therefore it's going to be 3 over 2. Okay. Didn't have to put all those steps in. Okay. That was your 4 marks there. The next question is your simultaneous equations. I'm definitely going to need a space here. Oh, that's simultaneous I up there. So what we have is 2x minus y is equal to 2 and 1 over y minus 3x is equal to 1. So it's either you're going to make x or y the subject of the formula in either one of the two equations. I'm going to make x the subject of the formula in the first one. Okay, that one. So take x over, and I bring the 2x over, and the 2 over, so it's 2y minus 2. That's equation 1. Substitute equation 1 into equation 2, whatever. So you have 1 over y minus 3 into 2y minus 2 equals 1. Okay, so what we do now, we solve for 1. Get rid of the bracket. So 1 over y minus 6y minus plus 6 equals 1. We multiply throughout by y. 1 minus 6y squared plus 6y minus y is equal to 0. It's negative 6y squared plus 5y plus 1 is equal to 0, which then in turn gives us 6y squared minus 5y minus 1 is equal to 0. I divide it throughout by negative. So I can people, again, if you can't factorize this, use a quadratic formula. Which then gives me 6y minus 1 is 5. So 6y and 1, y and 1, minus and plus. So y is equal to negative 1 over 6, or y is equal to 1. What we do with that is we substitute that wherever we see x again. So we then say x is equal to 2 times negative 1 over 6 minus 2. So it's negative a third, which is negative 2/3. Or in the other case, x is equal to 2 times 2 minus 2. No, 2 times 1 minus 2. Which is 0. Okay. Any confusion there, people? No? Question 1.5. It says, given f of x equals 3 into x minus 1 squared plus 5 and g of x equals 3. Is it possible for f of x to be equal to g of x? The answer is no. Why? Because if you look at the parabola, this is positive, so the parabola is smiling. Can you see that? So what is the coordinate of this here? 1 and 5. Can you see that? So what do you notice about with the 3? The 3 is below that. Can you see that? This is the y is equal to 3 line, and that is the f of x graph. So they never intersect. Can you see that? So the answer is no, and the reason for that is because f of x has a minimum value of 5. Can you see that? Or you could have done simultaneous equations. You're going to see the two graphs equal to each other. To work out the point of intersection, you would have noticed that you have no solution on the x. No roots. You can also conclude no solution. Therefore, will never intersect. Does it make sense? Alright. Then it says, determine the value of k. Determine the value of k. And the value of the values for k for which g of x is equal to f of x plus k has two equal roots. So what does that mean? For this to have two equal roots, this line here has to go through that axis there. Can you see that? You all agree with that, people? It has two equal roots, here it has two distinct or two different roots. Can you see that? But if this is at y is equal to 3, how many units must this graph, the g of x graph, actually go up by to intersect this graph at 2 points? So the k value is equal to? How many units must this g of x graph move up so you can have one solution? 2 units. Can you see that? So therefore, k is equal to 2. Okay. They have 2 equal roots. Okay. The next one. In question 2.1, it says consider the series. It goes the sum, where n is equal to 1 to infinity, so it's the sum to infinity of 2 into. Yes, Michael? Oh, unequal. Sorry, I'm reading equal. So 2 unequal roots. So at k is equal to 2, it will have 2 equal roots. Not so? So k has to be anything more than 2. As long as it's more than 2, it will have 2 at k is equal to 2. So it's going to be 5 in other words. That was g of x plus k, isn't it? So it's 3 plus 2 is 5. At that point, we'll have 2 equal roots. Anything more than that, we'll have 2 different roots. Can you see that? So it's there, and so on. So anything more than 2. Thank you, Michael. Now I will read that here. Okay, so consider the series. Okay, to this, for which values of x will the series converge? People, under what condition will the series converge? R is greater than -1 but less than 1, provided R is not equal to 0. Not so. So what do? We have to work out the first three terms. Where do we start? At 1. So I put 1 in by n, I will get 2 times a half x to the 1 plus. The next term is going to be, n is now 2. So it's a half x squared plus 2 into a half x raised to the power 3. And so on. Okay. So now gives us, that simplifies into x plus a half x squared plus, that's going to give you 1 over 4 x cubed plus and so on. Okay. So we say that series converge if and only if r is between negative 1 and 1. How do I work out my r value? Term 2 over term 1. So it's going to be a half x squared divided by x is greater than negative 1 but less than. Not so. So that cancels. So we'll have a half x must be greater than negative 1 but less than 1. But as you can see here, this is your r value here. Remember, r can't be 0, which means to say that x will never be equal to 0. Because our half x is equal to 0. What we then do is we multiply this by 2, which will give me negative 2x2. Okay. The next question. There's only one question. Okay. The next one. It says the sum of the first n terms of the series is given by the formula. Sn is equal to 5n squared minus 25. Determine the value of the sixth term. So how do you work out the sixth term? Remember, Tn is equal to Sn minus 1. But term 6 is going to be S6 minus S5. So if I see n, I put the 6. So it's 5 into 6 squared minus 25 minus is 5. So it's 5 times 5 squared minus 25. This gives us an answer of, it cancels. What's the answer? Sorry? 45. 55. Okay? Any confusion there, people? Very important to remember this. You've seen this question coming often as well. Okay. People, this one here, I'll put the link to the proof of this, what's his name? In the description box below. Okay? So you'll see a link there. If you didn't get the sum right, please go check it out. I've done this, the proof of the sum of arithmetic and the sum of the geometric in one video. Okay? Please check which of the two you're watching or you're looking for. I'll put it as I said in this description box below. Alright. 2.4. In question 2.4 we are told that the polygon has 25 sides. The length of the sides form an arithmetic sequence. If the polygon has a perimeter of 1100 centimeters, the longer side is 10 times the shorter side. So if we let the shorter side be x, and then the longer side is going to be 10. That's all. Determine the length of the shortest and the longest side. So if the perimeter is 110 and 1100, the perimeter is 1100, that means to say the sum of all these different lengths adds up to 1100. You all okay with that? Okay, that girl behind the... Check if she's okay then? You see compliments? Sorry? She's not feeling well. Isn't that going? Go on, man. I see. You okay, man? Go. Huh? Go on. So what's the use you sleeping in the class? Okay. So people, that is S in. And how many sides are there? 25 sides. Okay, you guys know what is happening here, no? Say that is the one piece, that's the other piece, little bit longer, and so on. Until you get the 25 sides into a figure. Okay? And it's enclosed, no, it touches, there is no gaps here, and so on. Okay, so Sn is equal to n over 2 into a plus a. Okay. Why? Because I got my first term and I got my last term. Right, so Sn is 1100 equals n, which is 25 sides over 2, into a, which is x, plus the last term, which is 10x. So that basically gives us 25 over 2 times 11x is equal to 1100. Divide by 11 both sides. So 25 over 2 x is equal to 100. Is that correct? Then 25 divided 100 divided by 25 is 4 times 2 is 8. So x is equal to 8. Just check if that's correct. Right, so the shorter side is 8 and the longer side is going to be 10 times that, which is 80 centimeters. Okay, that's how we do that one. In question 3 we are told that 7, 53, 35, 21 is a quadratic number pattern. Write down the fifth term in the pattern. So in other words, the next term. So how do I move from one to the next? I subtract it. Check then. Sorry? 22. And then? 18. Then? 14. So in other words, I'm adding 4. Now many of you wrote minus 4. So watch out for that. Okay. So if I add 4, then the next one is going to give me negative 10. Negative 21 minus 10 is 11. So term 5 is negative 11. You all agree with that? Okay. So the next question says determine the nth term. So here on the side I write 2a, 3a plus b, and a plus b plus c. Okay, I wrote too close to the edge of the board. Okay. So we're going to say 2a is equal to 4. So a is equal to 2. Then for 3a plus b, 3a plus b is equal to negative 22. So a is 2. So b is going to be negative 28. Is that correct? Then a plus b plus c, a plus b plus c is equal to 75. So c works out to be 101. Is that correct? 101. So then, therefore Tn is equal to 2n squared minus 28n plus 101. Okay? And you can test it. We put, whenever I see an n, I put a 5. So 2 times 5 squared. So you say 2 times 5 squared minus 28 times 5 plus 101. It should give you an answer of 11, which makes that good. Okay. Then the next question says, determine the maximum value of the following number pattern. So if we look here, then there's of course a link that is happening between the two patterns. Okay, I just need to change the term here. Let me take us off. Of course, there's a direct link between the two patterns. And what is the link? Is that from 75 to negative 15, I'm actually dividing it by negative 5. Can you see that? 53, and these are the giveaway, negative 5. 35 divided by negative 5, negative 7. 21 divided by negative 5, negative 21 over 5. Did you see that? And which means to say that the general term of this pattern is going to be the general term of this pattern here divided by negative 5. Can you see that? Divided by negative. So the general term here is Tn is equal to 2n squared minus 2 into 8n plus 101 divided by negative. Okay? But we haven't answered the question. The question says, determine the maximum value of the following number pattern. Now there's three ways in which I can do this. I can work out the turning point, or I can complete the square, or I can use a derivative. Okay? There's three ways of doing that. I'm going to complete the square. So Tn is equal to, I take out 2 over negative 5 as a common factor. Then I'm left with n squared plus 14n. 101 divided by 2 is 101 over 2. Okay, now I'm taking out 2 as a common factor then. Yeah? The denominator is of course negative 5. I'm missing out the signs here. This had to be negative 2 into 8 here. Negative 4, and this should have been positive. The negative denominator is negative. Okay, so what I do is I then take this out, so that is plus 101 over 2. So we say what must be added to complete the square with must be subtracted as well. So it's going to be 14 times a half, which is b times a half, which is 7 squared is 49. So there's your perfect square trinomial. Okay, so that's going to give you a negative 2 over 5. Into n minus 7 squared, and then n on the calculator you say negative 49 plus 101 over 2. Negative 49 plus 101 divided by 2 gives you 3 over 2. That's correct? Okay, so it's 3 over 2. And of course to get rid of the outer brackets, negative 2 over 5. N minus 7 squared plus negative 3 over 5. I think it is, okay? So coming back to the question says determine the maximum value. Why do you think they're asking the maximum? Because the graph is actually negative, so it has a maximum value. Okay? And the turning point of this is going to be 7 and negative 3 over 5. So in other words, the maximum value occurs at the end value of 7. The 7th term is the maximum value. But what is the maximum value? Therefore, it has a maximum value of negative 3 over 5. I'm sure I'm applying the turning point, which is minus b over 2a, substituting back would be easier. Or even easier than that would have been, do you apply your derivative, solve for n, you'll get 7, and then substitute n back to the original function for Tn, which is 2n squared minus 2 into 8n plus 101 over negative 5. You would also get negative 3 over 5. Okay? All of that thing will get the full mark. People, very importantly, when it comes to this question here, and many times learners can do this calculation, but they don't know when to apply it. If you are given, say you're sitting in an exam, in this exam that you were in, and you see you've got a quadratic pattern there, okay, what you do is complete the square, or work out the turning point and you leave it like that. Okay? That would at least get you, out of 4 marks, would at least have gotten you 2 or 3 marks. Okay? Yes? Okay. Question 4. In question 4, we are told that the graph of g is defined by the equation g of x is equal to the root of ax. The point 8 and 4 lies in the graph of g. Now, this is the square root of ax. Which is the inverse of this graph? The parabola. Note so, the inverse function is the parabola. So they also show that a is equal to 2. So how do we do that? We will substitute 8 and 4 into g of x is equal to the root of ax. Again, that's an x and a y. So 4 is equal to the square root of 8 times 8. So I square both sides, I get 16 is equal to 8a. So a is equal to 2. So there I got a to 2. This is right on the range of g. Now normally when we go for the inverse function and we apply the square root, what must we now figure? Plus minus. Is here plus and minus here? No. There's only plus. So what does that mean to say? Only one arm of the parabola, the inverted parabola is here. Okay? Which means to say, it's only the positive values that's going to exist for that. So the range is y is greater than or equal to 0. Okay? So if it was negative, I would have said y is less than or equal to 0. In question 4.3 it says, okay, so I need the space again. So in other words, this graph, g of x, is equal to the root of 2 to the x. The root of 2x. So coming back to this question in 4.3, it says, determine the equation of the inverse of g in the form of the inverse function. So if we look at the inverse function here, what do we do for the inverse function? We must interchange x and y, not so. So for the inverse function, it's simply going to read, remember that's a y, so x is equal to the square root of 2y. So I square both sides. So I got 2y is equal to x squared. The square root divide by 2, so it will be a half x squared. But importantly, this is a parabola here, a full parabola. But if we take this into account here, will the full parabola be drawn? Remember that is 8 and 4. Will the full parabola be drawn here? No. Only one arm on that side will be drawn, which is going to go through. If that is 8 and 4, that will be 4 and 8. Can you see that? So in other words, x has to be greater than or equal to 0 then. That part of the equation must also be written, but I don't think I penalized you there in that case. Okay? So the question should have read, if there was a mark allocated for that, then I would have said, determine the equation of the inverse function in that form, given that, stating its restriction as well. Then it will be fair of me to deduct the mark if that is done. Okay, but you should know that you should write that there as well, and that is the equation of the inverse function of g. People in 4.4 we are told, if h of x is equal to x minus 4 is drawn. So remember, what do I have? I have, that is the one graph, no? It's going through 8 and 4. That is your graph of g. So in 4.4, the graph of x minus 4. So I draw this graph, it's going to go through 8, 4. So in other words, that graph is going to go through here, with that being minus 4. Determine algebraically, now this is graphically, can you see that? It says, determine algebraically where the point, or the points of intersection of h and g. Okay. So how do I determine that algebraically? I see the two graphs equal to each other, not so. So the one equation was the square root of 2x is equal to x minus 4. So what do I do now? Square both sides. So I got 2x is equal to x squared minus 8x plus 16. So 0 is equal to x squared minus 10x plus 16. So that's a trinomial for us. Not so? X and x, 8 and 2, both minus. So x is equal to 2 or x is equal to 8. But if you look graphically here, if I substitute this back, then the corresponding y value here, I'm going to show you something quickly. If I substitute this back into this equation, then I will have y is equal to 2 minus 4, which is negative 2, and y is equal to 8 minus 4, which is 4. Clearly, this point here is this point here, not so. So that's the one point of intersection. But you see, this part of the graph is not drawn. You see that? X is 2 and y is minus 2. Can you see that is not on the graph? So in other words, I had to omit that part. Can you see that? Okay? And the question says again, what is the point of intersection? Therefore, the point of intersection is 8 and 4 only. Okay, can't be this one here. So that part of the graph wasn't represented initially. Okay. Right. Question 5. Question 5, we are told that the sketch below shows the graphs of f of x equals 6 over x minus 4 plus 3. The asymptote of f intersect at A. The graph of f intersect the x-axis and the y-axis at C and B respectively. We try to say in that order. First question says, write down the coordinates of A. That is simple, no? That's a Alright, we'll start with this question tomorrow. People, enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Good afternoon, class. Please come to school tomorrow. Okay?